we're going to need some fake poo. In this video, I explained how I use my Trelino composting toilet to stay fully self-contained when I'm off-grid. I also explained that the current composting medium I use is wood chip or kitty litter. And it's okay, but really I'd like something a bit more effective. So in this vlog, I'm going to compare a bunch of composting mediums to see which is the best for my Trelino toilet and staying fully self-contained off-grid. So this is the first of the 3 composting mediums on test today. As previously mentioned, this is what I use already. It's wood chip and it's cat litter. And you can see here it says it's highly absorbent, it's got good odour control, and it's natural and non-toxic. So number 2 on the lineup is this. It's kiln dried wood shavings. And we can see here from the front of this pack, it says it's quality shavings made from sustainable softwood, odour-free and highly absorbent, dust extracted to support respiratory health, and kiln dried to destroy bacteria. Looks like a good competitor for the wood chip. Number 3 in the lineup is this Swell Premium Cocoa Soil, or Cocoa Coir. Now this is a substrate for reptiles, if you keep reptiles, and there's nothing on the label that says anything about the absorbency or the odour control properties of this. But it comes highly recommended and people think it will be a good competitor, so that's number 3 in the lineup. Before we get on with testing these alternative composting mediums, we better explain the rules of the test, or how we're going to evaluate them. So what I thought we'd do is we'd evaluate them first for absorbency. So we want these mediums to be able to absorb any liquid but not become too gloopy and overawed with the amount of liquid. We want them to be able to control odours. So once used, we don't want our van absolutely reeking. So if they can suppress odours, they're going to score well. Then we're going to look at them in terms of the cost to buy them and how available they are. So do we need to buy it in bulk? Do we need to go online, or can we get them easily through local stores? And then finally, how easy they are to transport and store. Because essentially, every time we use them, we don't want dust flying everywhere and we don't want our van to become a mess. So those are the 4 criteria that we'll score against, and we'll see which one comes out on top. We're going to need some fake poo. So I think we've hit a bit of an issue straight away. Using real number 2s to test these is not going to be practical and it's not going to be pleasant. So I'm going to need some fake poo. I've asked ChatGPT how I should go about this, and it's proposed some ingredients. Let's take a look at those. I'm beginning to think this test wasn't such a good idea. Anyway, this is what ChatGPT has recommended. Okay, for the body of the fake poo, a can of rice pudding. And I guess we're going to colour that up with some coffee granules. We've also got some Marmite and some vinegar. It's not looking good, but I suppose the hidden ingredients that it's recommended is this, which is Thai shrimp paste. I believe it's called Trassi. And it's also recommended asafoetida powder or Indian hing powder. Right, I guess we're going to have to mix this up. So before we get any further into this, I suppose I better issue a warning. If you've got like queasy stomachs, then skip this chapter of the video, I guess. For me, I think I need some PPE. So I got myself some gloves I'm going to put on. I've got an apron. As I say, I've got the extractor fan on, and if things get really bad, I've got a face mask. I'm hoping we shouldn't need to resort to that, but let's get on with it. Let's get into this rice pudding. Oh my god, it makes you look at rice pudding a different way. Why have I become frightened of rice pudding all of a sudden? Oh, coffee granules. Already Marmite. If you didn't hate Marmite before, you will now. So that's the Marmite, coffee granules, and that's the rice pudding. Let's get a bit of vinegar in. Don't know if I needed that much, but how do you know what you need when you're trying to make fake poo and what measurements you need? Oh dear. More runny than it needs to be, I think. Let's have a look at these special ingredients then. So this is the asafoetida hing powder. If you would like to have a look so far how it's going. Right, last ingredient is the trassie or the shrimp. It's come in a bag, a vacuum sealed bag. I wonder if that's an indication of just how bad this is going to be. Oh, why did I agree to this experiment? Oh, that's minging. That stinks. That absolutely stinks. Okay, we've mixed up the fake poo, and I gotta say, it's absolutely horrible. It reeks. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to prepare a sample of each of the composting mediums in a Tupperware box. We'll apply some of the fake poo to each one in turn, and we'll let that have 5 minutes in a sealed Tupperware box. We'll come back, we'll look at the absorption of that, and then we leave it for a further 10 minutes. So at the 15-minute point, we'll open it, we'll do the smell test on it, and we'll apply some more composting medium to see how that goes. And then we'll be able to score the performance on absorption and odour control for each one. Right, I'll just give you a quick look and smell test of the fake poo. So there is the fake poo, and here's a quick smell test. That's good representation of the morning after a night on the curry and the beer. Believe me, we'll get a good test out of that. Test number one is the cat litter. We'll give that 5 minutes and come back to assess that. Test number two is kiln dried wood shavings. Oh dear. Dear. We'll give that 5 minutes and we'll come back to that. Test number three is the premium swell cocoa coir. We'll give that the remainder of the fake poo and come back to that in 5 minutes. So here we are, the 5 minutes has elapsed. We got our 3 samples laid out in front of us. Now is the time to test them for absorbency. Okay, so the first one here is the wood chip, cat litter. Doesn't look like that's absorbed very well to me at all. We'll give it a poke around with the... No, it's just resting on top and it's not absorbed. So that's actually, as I thought, because I've been using that, there's a little bit of a poor score from the kitty litter. So I'm going to give that a 3 out of 5. 3 out of 5? No, I'm going to give it a 2.5. That's poor. Right, let's look at the next one, which is the kiln dried wood shavings. Oh, in terms of absorbency, yeah, it's sunk down a bit. That's absorbed quite well, actually. I'm going to give that... I'm going to give that a 4. going to give that a 4. And what we'll do with the absorbency now is we'll add a bit more back on, and when we come back for the odour test in the 15-minute point, we can reassess the absorbency again. Let's have a look at the coir. Oh, really? That was recommended as absorbent? It's just running around the top. Oh dear. Admitted. These aren't solid number 2s. Okay, these are very wet number 2s, but that's what you want for absorbency. Yeah, what am I going to give that? It's a bit better than the kitty litter. We'll give it a 3. Okay, we'll give that one a 3. Let's add some more material on now, come back at the 15-minute point, reassess the absorbency and the odour control. 15 minutes has passed. Let's have a look at our wood chip for absorbency. Well, you know, it is starting to work. That has absorbed. That has absorbed. So I'm going to upgrade my initial score. I think I gave it 2.5. I'm going to give that 3.1, 3.2. I can assess it for odour control now. In terms of odour control, I'm going to give that a 2.8. Let's get on to the next sample. The next sample was the kiln dried wood shavings. Oh yeah, nice. Really runny stuff has just turned into a pancake. So that's good consistency there. And the absorbency, really impressive. On the smell rather. Really impressive, not too bad. So I like that. I'm surprised at that actually. I'm going to give that, in terms of absorbency, I think I'm going to give that a 4. And in terms of odour control, that's up there as well. That's going to get a 4. Okay, final sample, coir. Let's have a look at this. You know, it's not bad. I did put quite a bit in there though. It's not bad in terms of absorbency. That's on a par with the wood shavings, I think. Slightly below. Can't smell any odours at all. Odour control, I'm going to give that 4.7. 4.7 for odour control, and the same as the shavings for absorbency, which was a 4. Right, let's tidy away and let's look at the final 2 criteria that we're going to score against. Okay everybody, time to go through the scores on the doors for these 3 worthy competitors. Okay, let's look at absorbency. So absorbency, the coir scored a solid 4, the shavings scored a solid 4, and the cat litter at the rear there scored 3.2. So not much to separate the coir and the shavings on absorbency, but you know, the kitty litter coming up a poor 3rd there, quite a low score. And if I were to edge it between the 2, I'd say the shavings were pretty good. In terms of the odour control, the coir excelled actually. I couldn't smell a thing. I gave that a 4.7. The shavings, they got a good solid 4, and they are slightly scented themselves, so that kind of like suppressed the odour of the number 2 or the poo quite well. But again, the cat litter, a poor 2.8, and I knew this because I've been using it for a while. Now let's look at cost and availability. I've given the coir a 3.2, and the reason I've given it that is I got this off Amazon for £14.59 and it's 10 litres. So that evens out at about £1.49, £1.50 a litre. So you could say relatively expensive. So I've given that only a 3.2. In terms of the shavings were £13.99 for 3 kilograms. But that's quite a tightly packed 3 kilogram. And if you were to do a rough conversion into litres, that 3 kilogram is probably equal to about 30 litres. So this evens out at about 50p a litre. So in terms of its cost, I've given that a 4.5. And then the cat litter at the back actually was quite cost effective, £13.99 for 20 litres. So again, 30 litres. So again, evening out at about 50p per litre. So I've given that a 4.5. In terms of storage and transport, the coir was really quite easy to deal with and quite tidy. So I've given that a 4.2 in terms of it shouldn't make a mess of your van. Although if I stored that, I would be inclined to put that in a sealable bag in its own right, because there is going to be a tiny bit of mess. The shavings were the messiest out of the 3 mediums, and you could see from the experimental area the shavings went everywhere. So I've given them a 4, and you're going to need to store that in a separate bag really to stop that going everywhere. There's no dust there, but the shavings are quite light and they do get everywhere. And then in terms of the cat litter, the wood chip, I've given that a 4.5. That's really easy to store, quite tidy. You can put it in separate Tupperware boxes and administer it that way. It's really quite good. So in terms of rounding all of that up, we'll do it in time-honoured tradition. In third place, we have the cat litter at the rear there, getting 75%. In second place, we have the coir, getting 80.5%. Quite surprisingly, but a worthy winner, is this bad boy here, the wood shavings, the kiln dried wood shavings, with an overall score of 82.5%, gaining first place. What I would say though is, from the perspective of the coir, it got a 4.7 out of 5 for odour control, so it really does excel in that area. So I hope you found that little experiment useful. I'm off now to think about more adventures and less about poo. I've got to get rid of this little bundle. Please like and subscribe. Don't miss any of the action. See you on the next adventure.